What is up, everyone? Welcome back to You Might Be Surprised podcast. Today, I have a guest, Tenacity Maytrix.
Yep, how's it going?
What's up? You're the owner, or like what? Like how does that work? Well, first of all, tell us what Tenacity is.
So to define Tenacity, we are an amateur esports organization. And we were established in 2018. And to define my role, I'd say I was the owner and founder, or I am the owner and founder of Tenacity Esports.
That's crazy. So I was doing some research. Like, what's your guys' like main game, or like?
So right now, our if you look on our Twitter, our most the game we have the most presence in, I would say, is Rocket League.
Rocket League.
We've had multiple teams come in and out, but we've had a solid roster. We've had multiple title ships in like little smaller tournaments, but other than that, nothing major.
Really? I haven't really messed with Rocket League that much, to be honest. I always saw it as like a fun game, and like I've watched a couple streams of it, but I never like dove into it. I didn't like realize how big that like market is for that game.
Yeah, I mean, if you look on Twitch and you look at whenever the RLCS is on like live, you'll see that it breaks over or at least hits 6K 6-figure viewers, you know? So that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Like 100,000 views for esport is pretty wild.
That's huge. I mean, like my background in esports, I like to pride myself in being like one of the first couple 100,000 that like found out who Optic was and FaZe and stuff. Yeah. So like I've been huge into COD since Modern Warfare 2 was like my game. Like I still have dreams of that game.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Black Ops 2, those were, I'd say, like the golden era, the golden age of Call of Duty.
For real. I feel bad for the kids nowadays that have to play some of these trash CODs that we've had.
These recent CODs definitely have taken a decline because we could see that different things are being prioritized by the developers. So for example, Modern Warfare prioritized Warzone, and then the multiplayer aspect kind of just fell off. And speaking from a competitive aspect as well, I've been playing competitive for 2 years. I started in Black Ops 4 and I continued on to Modern Warfare. Seeing how the competitive community was neglected, even though we had a multi-million-dollar Call of Duty league to help grow Call of Duty as an esport in general. Like seeing that spawns weren't fixed, updates were being made like days before tournaments. It's just a lot of poor decision making on the developers' part in terms of competitive. Well, other than that, you look at Modern Warfare as a whole game and just exclude competitive. It's decent. Don't get me wrong, it's decent.
This game is one of the better CODs that I've played in a while. Like this is the first Call of Duty I think I've been playing for the full like lifespan. And I think it's just because Warzone is so huge. Because I feel like if that didn't come out, the game would have died just like all the other CODs. And what's your perspective on 5v5 compared to 4s?
So 5v5, I didn't mind it. You know, I think that 5v5 is great in terms of pace and just fast-paced movement, like action all the time.
Yeah.
But you slow it down, bring it down to 4v4. You have controllable spawns, and I feel like Modern Warfare, for example, that's kind of the reason why spawns are so wonky, is because there are just too many players on the map at times, and so you'd have people spawning in random places. But with 4v4, you're able to manipulate and control the map a lot better, play more tactically, instead of just constantly running out and rushing out without a plan, you know? So I feel like 5v5 definitely is more hectic. And if we bring it back to 4v4, like I said, respawns are a lot more controllable if you know how to play the game properly, if you know how to manipulate the map in your favor. and you can play more tactically in terms of S&D.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah,
Well, you saw for the new COD, it's back to fours, right?
yeah, I saw it was back to fours, and I got hyped myself because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, Forest COD is, it's a different game. Like adding a whole other player and removing a whole other player creates a different aspect for the competitive scene.
That's true. I'm competitive games is something that I've followed, but not close enough. Like I never got onto the Counter-Strike hype that was like huge a couple years ago, where
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
bringing
yeah.
in like hundreds of thousands of people. I've kind of always just been like a average gamer, but I respect the crap out of people who want to do competitive because it's such a grind.
Yeah, it really is a grind. If you think about it, right? I'm not gonna be that kind of guy to compare it to real sports, because like actual sports requires athleticism, requires you to actually get out there and work your
Mm-hmm.
ass off and break a sweat, you know. But then that same argument can be made for esports as well. Um, you sit there hours on end just to try to be the best or get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're grinding ranked games, you're grinding so many games, hours on end, and definitely, yeah, the labor is different between esports and athletic sports,
Yeah.
but I feel like the result it's worth it
Really?
if you're willing to grind, and if you're willing to uh not to toot my own horn, but be tenacious about it, really be
Mm-hmm.
passionate about it, have a fire under your ass, be
Yeah, for
motivated.
sure.
The end result can you're down in the books forever. Like if you become the best, if you go down as one of the best.
Yeah, for sure. How old are you?
I'm 19 right now.
You're 19. Dude, if I could take things back, so I'm 23, right?
Yeah.
If I could take things back to being like a freshman in high school and like seeing like these games and stuff, like it was kind of starting to blow up, but nothing compared to what it is now.
Yeah.
I wish like one of the things I always look back on is like I have a speech impediment, so
Mhm.
like being on a camera, I would always get too nervous and I would just like kind of quit. So I wish, because I always pictured myself as like being like a crazy cool quick scope sniper guy for like the CODs and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I always wish I would have started uploading uh videos back then, because I had such a mad passion for it.
Mhm.
But then like life hits and you have to go to college and and things like that.
Yeah, college sucks, honestly.
Are you in
Like
college?
despite I am in college right now.
How's
Um
how's that all going with the world and stuff?
so I mean, I'm fully online.
Oh, okay.
Uh and I'm a human bio major.
Oh, geez.
So things are, I mean, it's not that bad to be online, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. It's just I feel like you just have to do extra work, because you actually you're not going to your class and you're not just sitting there, like
For
they're
sure.
actually going to grade you on your attendance and stuff. But like besides that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The point I want to get at with college is, and you were saying how you had the passion for it. um I truly feel like if you really love something, if you really strive for something,
Yeah.
you can manifest it and you could find a way to make time for it.
Oh, for sure.
For Yeah, for me, for example, right? Black Ops 4 hit and I was insane about that game, and I love that game so much.
That was a good one.
Um and it was seen as like one of the worst CODs, but the competitive aspect about it, like just the overall fast pacedness about it, like the
I really
cracked
liked it.
gameplay,
Yeah.
it was something that really caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so being in college, I was a freshman at the time. Um, what I did, because from what I heard, pros practice from, well, this is back then. I'm not sure how scrim schedules work with the franchise league.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I heard was pros would practice 6 to 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
and that's what I wanted to do. I want to be professional in Call
Mm-hmm.
of Duty, and so I would practice 6 to 8 hours a day.
There
And
you go.
so, the thing is, though, right? School, and COD don't really mix well together. School and
Yeah.
video games in general don't mix well together. So I was prepared to lose hours of sleep just so I could get somewhere, you know?
Yeah. So where did um so why did you decide to create Tenacity? Is it because like I guess like something for me like whenever I was trying to figure out like my role and like what I like want to do in like creating content and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
like like what made you want to go that road instead of putting all your efforts into being like a content streamer, Call of Duty Pro, whatever game it is, compared to creating an organization?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it does blow up, that's like there's such a lot of work that goes behind it, a lot of business stuff that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
happening. So, like, what made you go down that road?
So we're talking video games, right?
Yeah.
And the way I divide it, if you want to take a career path, is there's 3 different career paths.
Okay.
There's content creation, there's competitive play, and then there's the business aspect.
Yep.
And so something that I really enjoy about it
Mhm.
is that I just love video games in general. So whether that's competitively, whether that's content creation, whether that's the business aspect,
Yeah.
I love all of that equally. And so me developing Tenacity, we were just trying to create a team name. Like this was in the beginning of Black Ops 4, and maybe we can go even further than that into World War II, right?
Mhm.
So we want to create a team name. Me and just a bunch of people that are grinding out game battles or GBs. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
I do. Yeah. I
Okay,
was
perfect.
I used to be on MLG.com back in Modern Warfare
Uh,
2 playing some games. Yeah.
So, but like what I was saying, initially how it started was we wanted to get a team going, and a team name. And so we just came across, initially we were going to call it Fatal Gaming. But we felt as if it was kind of cliche. And if you look at Tenacity Esports, not a lot of other organizations really like own up to that name.
Yeah.
And also the branding that we built behind it. We have the dragon logo, and it's kind of just something that really stands out compared to like Fatal Gaming, which is something that's, I'll be honest, it really wasn't the best name for us at the time. So Tenacity Esports was created to just as a placeholder name, and
Yeah.
then we didn't realize how far it would go.
I like that name a lot, by the way.
Tenacity,
Yeah, that's a dope name.
yeah. And reason being is because a lot of people would characterize myself as someone that's tenacious, and so that's the first word that popped up to my mind. I was like, yeah, Tenacity Esports, let's do it.
Not gonna lie, I can just tell by your voice that you are like when you can hear someone that's like actually like confident and like in like a realm of speaking, like that's what you're doing right now, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And it's weird, like I'm a bio major. I don't do communications, I don't do business,
Yeah.
right? And all these things, like I figure out by listening to podcasts, listening to Hex, literally the greatest CEO of all time.
Dude, we can
literally
I love that dude.
evolutionized NRG esports.
I love that dude.
Yeah. So it's a lot of self-taught things, But yeah, anyway, we were talking about how Tenacity really formulated.
Yeah.
So, after we realized that it was kind of bigger than what we really thought, we started looking to branch out to other teams, and so, or other games, I mean. And so the first game that we stumbled upon was Rocket League, and that's where we still are today. And I take pride in joining that because I just want to shout out one of my current players, Soul, who is top 150 in all of US. So that's pretty crazy.
That is actually very crazy.
Yeah. And he's a beast. The entire team's a beast. Zig, Nikolai, if you're watching or if you're listening, you guys are beasts. Malik, you're a beast too. But yeah, so we came across Rocket League, and that's when we also started realizing, like, wait, we can't just like recruit these people without like money,
Yeah.
And this is where the conversation kind of takes a turn, and because money is a really controversial topic, money is always something that um it's just kind of weird to talk about.
It really is.
And so I'm sorry, I'm kind of just like talking.
No,
Is that
no,
okay?
yeah, dude, this is a podcast, dude. We can talk about giraffes if we want, man.
Okay, I'm just making sure. And so we were approached with initially, before we picked them up, we were approached with the idea of a salary.
Yeah.
And so we denied them at first. We were like, yeah, we can't even afford this. At the time we were in high school, so we can't even afford this. Like, how is that even possible? So later on, we were patient with it, and we were able to recruit them through benefits, not from a salary, but through just like regular benefits that you could thrive off of when joining.
For sure. Like
That's
sponsors
how
and
we
stuff.
convinced them. Yeah. So just for example, like entry fee tournament league sessions are paid off, and coaching sessions are paid off, free merchandise, free GFX, free VFX, a stable community to promote your stuff on, which Tenacity, if you ask any of the members right now, we're very close knit. We're basically a family. And so having that supportive community, like, I feel like it would really it would sway me if I was a free agent, because I definitely want to explode in terms of analytics as a player and potentially a content creator. But yeah, so Rocket League was our first game.
Yeah, I think like the way that you're going, and like from what it sounds like you have some crazy potential. And like, I'm like, to be honest, like I kind of like hit you guys up out of nowhere because I was just looking for people to podcast with, and I like hearing people's like what they go through to like be who they are today. And it's just I'm excited to see what happens, because it sounds like you guys know what you're doing. And not gonna lie, your guys' merch is on fire.
Our merch, yeah, that's probably the number one comment we get when someone approaches us about Tenacity. They usually just click on the link in our bio. The Evo, shout out to Evo Esports for helping us provide these merchandise.
Yeah.
But that's probably the number one thing that people really comment on is the design of the logo and the merchandise. Because like I said, we have multiple titles in smaller tournaments, so we're not exactly like blown up.
Yeah.
But speaking of potential, we recruited about a year ago. We recruited. I'm not sure if you know who this is, and I'm not sure if you're aware of the Smash Melee community. Albert, do you know Albert?
I do not. I know that there's a crazy huge community for Smash. I had a roommate in college, shout out Shane, he'll be watching this, who literally lives and breathes Smash Melee. And like, we would play that game, or he would play that game for hours, and he would watch people's live streams and everything. So I do know that there's a huge scene, but I don't really know many people.
Okay, so just to give you a little background, right? So on Albert's the GOAT, the greatest guy ever. He's so friendly, he's an awesome person. And the fact that we were able to pick him up, I'm just gonna give you some of his accolades and merits.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of who Hungrybox is.
No idea.
So Hungrybox was listed as the #1 Melee player in the entire world, right?
Okay.
And Albert was able to beat him and knock him off in bracket play.
Ooh.
So that just says something, right?
Who's his main?
So are you talking about Albert's main?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Falco.
Okay.
Yeah. And after I heard about that, and after I realized that he was free agent, I was just like, yeah, we have to pick this man up. And luckily, the way we did it was we pretty much, there's no salary involved,
Yeah.
but there is heavy and intense funding like being poured into it.
Really.
Because I feel like I figured as if regular expenses like a salary,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, it definitely adds up fast,
Oh, it
really
does.
really fast. Um, but Albert was cool enough and kind enough to understand the situation. Like we're just teenagers striving for this like kind of unbelievable goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to grow as an esports org. Um, and so we picked him up, and now he is currently ranked number 37 in all Smash Melee leaderboards or something like that in the world. So
Dang.
he's insane. He's insane.
Jeez. It. Like one of the things that like I like kind of hold myself back to is like seeing like when you look at like Hex for like an example, like
Mhm.
his paved path that he did for him to become successful. As like a fan, you kind of like you don't like necessarily like say this a lot, but you're like, oh, like I have to do this and this because
Mhm.
you see somebody else that's how they became famous or achieved their dream. But it's one of the things that I've learned with podcasting and just like talking with people is that there's so many different roads to becoming successful,
Mhm.
and especially like with Smash or just like games that like I don't know of that have these huge scenes. It's just crazy to hear about it because without these conversations, I feel like not just for me, but for whoever else is listening, that there's like a lot of potential to get new viewers into whatever
Mhm.
you're doing or what I'm doing and stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways to do it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like timing was a very important aspect to why we see the content creators now that are gigantic.
Timing's everything.
Yeah. I felt like if I was born a little earlier and I took grasp of Call of Duty a little earlier,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I could be in a more of an elevated spot than I am right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, right, it was just kind of unfortunate timing, you
All
know.
right.
And so we look at for example, Scump. He was fortunate enough to be um amazing at Call of Duty at a
True.
young age, and he
True.
realized it, took the potential and capitalized off of it.
True.
And that was during a time when esports was nothing and it was a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um, it blew my mind when I heard the numbers that these organizations were paying to get a spot.
Oh yeah, in the CDL, dude.
Yeah. That's nuts.
That's, you have to put down millions of dollars just to get a spot in the league. But that doesn't even solidify that your team is going to be placing well all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, Optic Gaming, after the fallout with Hex and stuff like that, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you're aware.
Oh no, I followed that very closely.
Yeah. So Optic Gaming pretty much was in a slump the entire season and kind of made a decent run at champs. But other than that, having a slump the entire season, besides the last game that actually
Mhm.
matters, like, you're already putting yourself in a hole,
Yeah.
So
What's Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's your thoughts? Because I always thought COD should do this. So Counter-Strike has been like pretty much the exact same for years. And
Mhm.
then there's this new game, Valorant. By the way, I saw your crazy clip that you have. That was nuts.
That was insane.
But I always thought that COD should just have like one game where they maybe throw in some new maps, but I think they should have the dynamic the same for how much they're spending for these spots, because Call of Duty is always a gamble each year if it's actually going to be good or not. And especially with how big Warzone is,
Mhm.
like professional COD may not get the respect it deserves this coming year like it kind of did this year.
Yeah. So I always bring this up. like when me and my friends are talking about competitive COD,
Mm-hmm.
that I truly believe that they should stop making yearly CODs. And
Yeah.
I feel the reason behind why they've been so trash recently, as of like recent years,
Mm-hmm.
is because there's obviously a deadline. You know, there's a deadline to have one every single year.
Yeah.
And so just imagine if there's just one Call of Duty, we had zombies, we had Warzone, we had Spec Ops, we had all of those extra game modes,
Mm-hmm.
and we had regular multiplayer plus a good competitive scene. COD would honestly take over esports because as of right now, you think about it, right? Besides League of Legends and the games
Mm-hmm.
that have already solidified themselves as greatest esports of all time,
Yeah.
you look at COD. COD is played everywhere. Everyone talks about COD. Everyone knows what Call of Duty is, right?
I would say
But
that game is the #1 game of all time. I
definitely,
would argue that with just like
yeah.
the
But it's
sales and like fan base.
yeah, true. I think the fan base is loyal. I think the fan base is a fan base that you really can't shake an opinion out of, like a
Mm-hmm.
different opinion out of.
That's true.
But if we're looking at analytics and if we're looking at sales,
Mm-hmm.
Riot Games
That's true.
is insane at that.
That's true.
They're a free game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free game. League of Legends and Valorant, both free games.
Yeah.
All the revenue they've ever made is based off of skins and ad sponsors and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, same thing with Fortnite. Fortnite is a free game, free to download game. Meanwhile, they're super successful.
Mm-hmm.
How? From the cosmetics and the skins, right? But to me, skins doesn't dictate a successful esport.
Yeah. No.
You look at CS:GO. It's not the prettiest looking game, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's very simple. It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why it's evolved into ESL Cologne and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing that it's one game and seeing that they're just constantly updating that one game, making it better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if they did that with COD would take over the scene fast.
I think so too. Did you ever play or did you ever watch COD 4 Pro Mod?
I wasn't really into COD like earlier.
Yeah.
I played it like every now and then. I didn't really watch any of the pro mod stuff.
I suggest looking back at that because I think that could have been peak professional COD. Those guys back then were straight up nasty, and some of the plays that you would see, like the bounces and things that you could do, are nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I always wish I could have been nasty at mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Way back then because that looked like so much fun.
I like right now. I've basically been a console player my entire life.
Same.
But then I invested into a gaming / streaming PC, and that's when like my life kind of changed, and I was like, "Yo, keyboard and mouse feel so smooth."
It does. It's so satisfying when, especially if you're using a sniper on whatever game, and you can pop someone across the map or just do a nasty flick. It's the most satisfying thing in the world.
Oh, absolutely. Hitting flicks is the greatest feeling of all time, to be honest. Like,
especially when it's a clutch moment and it's so nice.
But let's bring up the argument, right? Just for podcast content. What do you think about the keyboard and mouse versus controller debate? What do you think is easier? What do you think is harder? What do you think gives you an edge?
I feel like now I've been playing mouse and keyboard predominantly for the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I am still average at best when it comes down to like clutch situations where if I was on a controller, I feel like let's take Call of Duty, for example. If I was on a controller, there's been multiple times when I've been playing Warzone and there's a guy right in front of me and I would just have the instinct to zoom in and shoot. And on mouse and keyboard, I just spray. So if we're looking, I feel like it just is down to the player and the experience. I definitely think controller is simpler just because there's aim assist and it's just dumbed down. And I feel like mouse and keyboard is for the people. It's like, do you like um cars?
I'm not really a big car guy, but I could understand some car talk.
So it's just like playing on a controller is just like driving a really nice Mustang, and then playing on a mouse and keyboard, you're like driving a Porsche. That's kind of how I would think of it.
For me, like, maybe because I'm biased, because like I said, I played console pretty much all my life, and so if you look at it, right, just like the pure mechanic of aiming with your wrist and you have your whole arm, versus like your thumb, but that's because console players have aim assist. We have our thumbs, but we have aim assist.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, strip away the aim assist, right? Only a really experienced console player would be able to play without aim assist.
That's true.
But then you put a console player on PC, right? They're just in-game mechanics that mess up your accuracy, like spray control, right? Like you look at CS:GO and Valorant. The things that mess up your accuracy are spray control. But you look at their crosshair placement in-game, and you see that they just have the natural instinct to keep it at head level,
Yeah.
So that's why I say controller would be harder if there was no aim assist.
Oh yeah, for sure. If the moment they took aim assist out for snipers, I don't want to say I like stopped quick scoping, but it definitely, I stopped using a sniper as much as I did from like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, because it really is just harder.
Yeah, without aim assist, I just put away the controller and pick up a keyboard and mouse at that point, because it's hard. It's hard to just aim with your thumbs, But then like you look at, like I said, the aiming mechanic with keyboard and mouse, you use your entire wrist and your arm. If you're an arm aimer versus like a wrist aimer, So, that's my argument, is that you put a really experienced console player on a PC.
Oh, they'll do just fine.
They'll be decent at it, right? But then you put a really experienced PC player on a console with no aim assist, that's where you see the difference.
Yeah. I think in the near future it's just going to come down to preference, especially with the games now all moving to cross-platform, which makes me so happy from being somebody who had to play Modern Warfare 2 with only 2 of my friends in 8th grade because no one else had a PS3 and everyone else had an Xbox 360. So there was always that debate at lunch of who would win and stuff. But yeah, and I don't know. I think PC just in general is just so much better. There's no point, in my opinion, we can talk about this, of even buying the new consoles when you can just build a PC, especially with how cheap they just made the new graphics cards.
That is true. Yeah. And but the thing is I'm a simp for Activision and COD.
Yeah.
So depending on where the competitive community goes, whether it's to PC, or if they just continue on with PS5, I'm just gonna get the PS5 if that's the case. That's the only reason why I would even get the PS5, is just to play competitive COD.
That's true. So where does the Tenacity, do you see them being a competitive COD? Or like what can you guys do, because competitive COD is just stupid expensive to get into, like we said. Like what can a small organization do to start working towards that way for COD? Because it sounds like you have a really big passion for that game.
Okay, so basically, to describe the background operations of Tenacity Esports, we have a board, like a board of managers,
Board of
and
directors.
so yeah, board of directors, yeah,
Yeah.
and pretty much the way it works is these are all people that I know personally. These are all my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and um, they've agreed to hop on board and help me grow Tenacity, and they help me with finances.
Uh-huh.
And so, take a $250 team pass, right? There's 8 board members, and so you divide that by 8, and you pay whatever's left from that.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, a lot of the expenses that we've been paying so far individually, it's not that bad. But collectively, you look at the grand total as like, wow, okay, that's pretty expensive. But like I said, once you divide it up, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So in terms of going into Call of Duty, I feel like it wouldn't be that much of a problem. But that's why I try to avoid players that are asking me for a salary when Tenacity is not even self-sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by self-sustainable is it's not generating its own revenue yet.
Yeah.
Because like we're a small organization, people are not really using our affiliate codes with the companies like Jerky Pro and Insane Labs. And even then, if they did, we wouldn't get like a crazy amount out of it,
For sure.
So, that's why I avoid players that ask for salary, even though they're asking for salary probably for a good reasons because they're really good.
Yeah.
It's just overall like what you said before, a regular expense like salary would add up really fast, and so I'm a working college student. All these guys that are on the board are working college people.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely is difficult dealing with a regular expense like that.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, is it better to, I mean, I guess it's always better to pick up new players and stuff like that, but is it better to just work with the guys that you have now and try to get them to explode and things like that? Or is it
Yeah.
more always just reaching out and try to get lots of names in your guys' org?
So right now, right, we have a Rocket League team, we have a Rainbow Six team, and we have a Smash player.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, we're trying to get a Valorant team going.
Okay.
And so, having all of these teams, having all these people, it can get difficult. It can get difficult to manage all these people.
I'm sure.
And so, sorry, just give me 1 second. I need to turn you up according to my chat.
Oh, you're fine.
And okay, so having these people to manage kind of gets difficult, and so that's why, as of right now, I'm really just working to help my Rocket League team and help my Rainbow Six team to get where they need to be. But reason being why I want a Valorant team is because that's just the game to be at right now.
That game's so much fun.
It's a super fun game. It's new, it's fresh, new esport, and a lot of potential in different players. So you don't know who could really be, the next Kenny S or the next Shroud.
For sure.
That's exactly the reason why I want a Valorant team. But we look at these Valorant players, and this goes back to the topic of salary. All these Valorant players are really experienced CS:GO players that have merits under the belt, have accolades under the belt.
Yeah.
And so they're asking for a salary. And definitely, as of right now, the difficulty is trying to obtain that team that's not asking for that. But at the same time, right, you think about it. You think about how this is all an investment, and you think of investments in general. They're risks.
Yeah.
So definitely, I feel like it's time to step up to the plate and just be like, all right, I'll put this money down, but you guys got to do good for me too now. So that's where we're at right now in terms of trying to expand. I don't think expanding is a bad thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Feel like you have to be able to stabilize your rosters first, the rosters that you already have first, before you move on to anything else.
Yeah, that's That's true. It's always nice to see people like I always like look back at the optic guys and stuff, like the people that were there from the start and then like
Mm-hmm.
kind of blew up. It's just it's kind of at least the way like I kind of see it is it's like the the margin to get into competitive games or just to be a content creator, it gets smaller and smaller every
Mm-hmm.
day. Not saying it's not possible, because I mean we're
Yeah.
both kind of chasing it, but
Yeah.
it's it's um it's cool to see what's gonna happen with your guys' organization, to see who blows up inside of it and to watch it kind of grow. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
coolest thing about an organization.
Yeah, definitely. You could apply that to anything you make, yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
anything that you've produced yourself. Say for example, like cake, right? You like to watch it rise, you like to watch it, rise in the oven,
Mm-hmm.
and you like to see it formulate, right? Anything that you produce yourself, it's like your baby,
Yeah.
Like same thing applies to the organization. We've established this. We had less than 26 followers, 20 or 25 followers in the beginning, and because we just used like an old random Twitter account, and then
Mm-hmm.
we transformed it into what it is right now. Definitely a lot of time has gone into it, and personally, I feel like we're not doing good in terms of the time we've spent uh, working on Tenacity versus like the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't think it's good enough, but it's a slow and steady process. I can't argue with results,
That's
So
true.
even though the results are slow,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's still results.
Yeah. All right, let's throw it way back here. What's your favorite game of all time?
Oof. Favorite game of all time. Uh, Obviously it's gonna have to be a Call of Duty, and I'm just gonna. It's a generic answer, but Black Ops 2 is my favorite of all time, 100%.
Black Ops 2.
Um, a lot of good memories made on that game with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Kevy D. Shout out VP7 or Cosreach, and shout out Brendan K. Um, those were the guys that really ignited my passion for Call of Duty, and it wasn't even just called like competitive. It was zombies, right?
Yeah,
The zombies DLC was amazing. Origins was amazing.
it was.
Um, we had there were times where the Panzer Zolats, right? The big guys,
Oh
they
yeah.
would just they would just chase you, and you're using the elemental staffs, and we're all trapped in the bottom room
Mm-hmm.
where the staffs are, and we're just charging up our our staffs, like it's just like a lot of like foolery happened, and it was just such good moments, good times. um but unfortunately, as time passed on, like interests change, and so not everyone's interested in COD anymore.
For sure.
uh but yeah, Black Ops 2 definitely, Black Ops 2 definitely is the go-to game for me. I just had so many good memories on it.
That's a good one. Wait, so
What about you though?
if we're talking like multiplayer games, I definitely have to say Modern Warfare 2. And you're not gonna like me for this, but I stopped playing COD during Black Ops 2. So
Sheesh.
I only played that game for like the first like 3 months, and then like I wasn't about it. So
Mhm.
I I don't really get the guys that say like, oh, it's the best COD of all time, because my answer is always Modern Warfare 2. I lived and breathed that game. That game and Black Ops 1 were my two favorite games for multiplayer of
There's
all
a lot of
time.
cool things from those CODs, like Modern Warfare 2, like it was. I just think the multiplayer aspect of Modern Warfare 2 was amazing.
Oh, it's
um
so
but
nice.
yeah, the multiplayer aspect of Modern Warfare 2 definitely unbeatable, right? If I were to just compare multiplayers from Black Ops 2 to MW2,
Hmm.
definitely give it to MW2. It's a lot more realism involved in the gameplay.
Yeah.
Um and there are things like the weapons just satisfying to use, the intervention just amazing, like feels amazing to hit a quick scope on.
Hmm.
Um just different aspects of the multiplayer that really put it over the top. But I'd say Black Ops 2 multiplayer was just a step underneath it.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing that really exploded it for me was the zombies. Like that was really it. Like, and I did play zombies in World at War. I did play zombies in Black Ops 1,
Mm-hmm.
right? But like that is just like, to be honest, being really young and naive, you don't really understand like um what makes a game good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so looking back in retrospect, you see zombies and league play.
And
League
league
play was
play.
introduced. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome. Loved it. And then Black Ops 1 too. The gambling system in Black Ops 1 was interesting.
I really liked that. That was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. When you played party game modes for points, like that was cool.
It was.
I really thought that they should keep that as a thing, but unfortunately, we're here in Modern Warfare with 50 different attachments. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I really wish that they would just go back to like the simpler times of the game. Just one for the for competitive, because I feel like having all those attachments is just kind of like annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, it's just like after I don't think like for the first like couple months of playing Modern Warfare,
Mm-hmm.
I was rocking the same gun with the same attachments just because I just kept on forgetting to change it because there's so many of them.
Yeah, I feel like though the implementation of Warzone and how you could use your own classes um to in the game, like in the battle royale, I
Mm-hmm.
think that was really smart of them to do, because that advocates the player to grind out all these different guns so that
Yeah,
they could have a whole arsenal to choose from for Warzone, you know? I thought that was really smart of them.
I'll give them that. I was a fan of that at first, but the more I play it now, I don't really like it that much. I was a huge fan of Blackout.
Mm-hmm.
I know life that with my cousin. Like that was like our thing. My last year of college is I would get done doing homework and stuff, and him and I would play that game for hours.
Yeah, I feel like just in general, you look at the battle royale scene, right? Like it just exploded. H1Z1. Well, we could go even further back to Minecraft survival games. Like
Yo, that was fun.
that was super fun, right?
This
And
is gonna show my age real quick. I watched Bayesian Canadian when that dude had like probably like 30,000 subscribers.
that's crazy, bro.
And like his friend like Jerome
Jerome, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I don't yeah, I was watching that back then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
So
it's just yeah.
um yeah, I mean, we can go back to Minecraft survival games, and we look to what we have now, right? We have Warzone, we have Fortnite, PUBG. PUBG kind of irrelevant though, but um I think it's just the thrill of trying to get number one. It's like a gamble almost, you know?
It
Like
is.
you would drop down in a spot you don't know of, like you don't know if there's gonna be good loot there or not, and when you do, when there is good loot, like it's a fun time, like it's a great time. Um, so I really think that the aspect of battle royale, like that aspect of trying to get number one, and you're like so close, so you have to play again.
Yeah.
Like that's just like the addictive aspect of it.
Did you ever hop on the Fortnite scene when that was huge or no?
So I did, right?
Mhm.
I really enjoyed playing Fortnite actually. Like I loved it. Like even to this day, sometimes I'll hop on, and even though they're sweaty kids, like I still like it.
Mhm.
Um, because there's something about, like, ever since building was introduced, and ever since like build battles and like box fights, and you see all these
Yeah.
complicated mechanics and like fast paced movement and gameplay like captivate me. And so I wanted to be like one of those sweaty guys, you know, those sweaty kids.
Mhm.
So like I practiced low key on my mechanics in Fortnite, but over time I was just like, dude, this is like Battle Royale gets stale for me.
It does. Same
Yeah.
kind of. I I stopped playing after like season 5
Mm-hmm.
because I was playing it on a controller, and like once they put in Builder Pro, and I never like really, because I played that game like when it was like first released, so like
Yeah.
I didn't have to rely much on building. It was more of like the dodging and weaving and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
once people started getting crazy, I kind of like backed off of that game because the skill gap was too much.
Yeah, and like for me though, like you look at Fortnite and then like you look at that skill gap, and I wanted to like be up there with like those like crazy cracked guys, you know.
For sure.
But I could definitely see how irritating it can get when like you're just trying to play, have fun, and then like
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, like some guy builds the entire tri-state area on your head, you know.
Yeah.
So
Gosh.
um, I could
That.
definitely can see how that's boring. But like we take in games in consideration like PUBG, right, and H1Z1.
Mm-hmm.
That was just all gun skill right there. You just had to be a good. You just had to have a good gun mechanic, you know. So
Yeah, that's true. I never played PUBG, but that's what want that game right there is why I wanted a PC,
yeah,
because it just looked like so much fun.
PUBG was really fun. At its prime, definitely it was super fun.
Really?
Um, but now like it's just hackers and there's just like it's infested with overseas continental players because like they don't want to play in their own servers
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, you know, like uh H1Z1 definitely had like a big problem with that because people in China would always join US servers
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just assuming that they would get bullet registration on us, but we couldn't hit people from Chinese servers.
Yeah.
So it's just because of just, you know, bad connection and stuff. Um, but yeah, man, like Battle Royale in its prime, definitely we see it now. Still, I would say it's still in its prime because of the way that Call of Duty has adapted itself into a Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And we look at Halo Infinite, right? Potential Battle Royale in Halo.
True.
So yeah, that stuff's crazy, you know?
Yeah. All right. I have a serious question for you.
All right, what's up?
Did you happen to have an opinion on Joe Rogan's take on video games, or do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that. If you want to just educate me.
So, do you know who he is?
Yeah, I do know who he is.
So, I guess like the question I was gonna ask before that is pretty much he said that people can waste a lot of time playing these games, and maybe you should be putting your skills into something besides playing games. So my
Mhm.
question for you, and because I think about this a lot, is in 10 years from now, um it sounds like you've put in tons of work into tenacity. Will, looking back at this, if things don't go the right way, are you going to regret this, or is this going to be something that you're going to cherish and be like, oh, I did this?
No, this is definitely going to be an experience where I I'll never forget, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
even though we're just in the beginning stages of Tenacity,
Yeah.
um it's already a great time. I've got to meet great people. I've
Mm-hmm.
got to meet our Rainbow 16 Patches, the GOAT. Truly shout out to you too. Like we're we're just in the beginning process. And so referencing Joe talking about how it could be a waste of time, for me this is the sole reason why I roll out of bed every morning. For me this is my purpose, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is gonna get a little existential, but not having a purpose and not having the passion or love to want to do something and like that like jumps you out of bed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of difficult to really like live your life because you're not living anymore, you're just existing if you don't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
um and I don't want to get like sad or anything, but like my dad passed away like a couple months ago.
Oh no, I'm
And
sorry.
so yeah, it's all right. And so I literally like I didn't want to do anything, dude. I didn't want to get out of bed. And I still had tenacity during the time. I didn't want to do anything, but
Mm-hmm.
like time time just, time helped me out. And so I played video games to like get my mind off things.
Yeah.
And like the more I played, the more I realized like, yo, this is what I want to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is what got me out of bed this morning.
Yeah.
So that's where I figured like this is my purpose.
I like
Like
it.
I was meant to do something with this.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to say that video games are a waste of time, that's just
Or
because
he
sorry, go
said
ahead.
it could be a waste of time for somebody that just dives too deep.
Could be a waste of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, to some extent, I do agree because if there's no goal that you're trying to achieve, if you're not creating content, if there's no purpose behind you playing,
Mm-hmm.
then you're wasting time.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I feel like if you have a purpose and if you have a motivation to play, if you're trying to be the best, if you're trying to be a professional COD player, if you're trying to be a professional whatever, if
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to make it big on Twitch or YouTube, right? Like all these things. If you're trying to grow an organization, right? There's a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just playing without a purpose, if you're just playing just to play and waste time, like that's essentially what it is. It's just you're wasting time.
Yeah. And I think that can be brought up with, I mean, you can be wasting time reading too many books. You can waste time drawing if you're not doing things with it. I just think video games have exploded in the past 5 to 6 years, and it's crazy to see somebody who's like seen kind of like I've watched the competitive scene for COD just kind of like get bigger and bigger when it was nothing. I was seeing Hex with 20,000 subscribers and see him grow.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy.
Yeah, like dude, competitive COD was set up on 2 picnic tables. Like now look at it,
Yeah.
like and then let's take actual numbers into this conversation. In 2019, I think 2019, 2018, video games as a whole, right? Video games as a genre of business generated more revenue than Hollywood and the music industry combined. So like, and that's a real statistic. You can look that up.
I will have to look that up.
Yeah, they generated more revenue than Hollywood and the music industry combined. So there's the proof, that video games are worth something.
I think I definitely think that's true, and I think with in like the next like 10 years that we're gonna have we already have the video game superstars like Doc, Ninja, Shroud, Scump. But I think that we're gonna see that be like 10 times the case, and I feel like Twitch and things like that is the new version of just everything. Doing things live and kind of like creating a business around yourself is gonna be the new norm.
I definitely do agree. Like we're growing up in a generation where we're seeing brands being built, businesses being built from the ground up. But then we look at these influencers, right? And then we see how they influence the younger generations. Like Ninja, for example, he was the biggest streamer on Twitch and broke records on records, right? And then you see all the little kids that want to be like him, right?
Yeah.
That just sparks the inspiration and motivation for them to want to be like Ninja.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're about to see a whole generation of esports players, of content creators explode.
Yeah.
And I think if you start now, when esports is still technically small, if you start now, you're gonna have to put your foot in the door, because that's opportunity. That's opportunity when it's like right in front of you. You gotta take it.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's like the scariest thing about going down this route and stuff is that there's no set pathway. Like normal life is just like you go to college and then you get a job and then you work your way up through that job. Or like nowadays, I think when I graduated college, they said that you're gonna work over like 100 jobs, or so, I don't know if it was 100, but it was some crazy number.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the hardest thing for like a content creator, or to even go back on Joe Rogan's thing, is because like you could not make it and put all this time in and for nothing. And that's the
Yeah.
scary part.
Definitely is scary. Like I do agree, it definitely is scary. All this work just for nothing. But then I'm also thankful for the experience.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm thankful for the people that I met along the way. I'm thankful for the values and uh, lessons that is taught. You know, and so if let's say, God forbid, I don't make it. You know, God forbid that everything just crumbles and burns right before my eyes. Right?
Yeah.
I'd still be thankful for the experience.
Oh, for sure.
It taught me so much, and it gave me an opportunity. You know, like I said, it gave me a motivation to get out of bed every morning. And we were talking about real life jobs, right, and stuff like that. But like sometimes people like us, we don't want that. We don't want to be just another person, you know, standing in a sea of ordinary people.
Yep.
That's just so whack to me. Like it's just like every person on this earth has a potential, and like I don't know the exact quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson, but to sum it up, he was like, um, I refuse to uh be gone from this earth without having made significance to society or something like that.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I want to be that person that impacts people, you know? I want to be that and I'm guessing you too. Like we're doing this for the people and the community, you know. We're striving to better people, you know? And I started taking the streaming when Advanced Warfare came out. Um And so when Advanced Warfare came out, I got an Elgato. This was Christmas time. And I was actually popping off on YouTube. I really was. I was averaging 30 to 50 viewers every stream. There was a streak of days where I reached 100 subs a day. Like, I was popping off.
What happened?
Unfortunately, the community that I built ended up being too toxic because at the time, satire and sarcasm and like all that stuff was the trending thing. And so, unfortunately, the community that I built ended up being toxic, and I couldn't have that on my brand. I couldn't have that on my name. And so I was like, all right, we're gonna go to Twitch and start brand new. And this is where we are right now.
That's crazy. So how's live streaming on they're going?
So live streaming on Twitch is not bad. I'm starting to build a small community. And ever since we brought up Tenacity, they've been really supportive of my content as well as I am to theirs. As well, we are to theirs. So, Twitch has definitely done me some good. I definitely, as a gamer in general, right? There are some toxic traits that gamers do have.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I can't create a toxic community anymore. That was just like overbearing, and seeing the things that they would say in chat, and like I want to slap myself in the face thinking about me just letting it all fly. I'm just like, dude, this is bad. Like this is toxic community is just annoying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so I gave up 1.3K subscribers, all gained within 4 months, to stream on Twitch, where I barely even touched 30 to 50 viewers.
That's nuts. I feel like my Twitch like background is like kind of weird. I think I have like 57 followers and I'm an affiliate. And the only reason why I'm an affiliate is 2 weeks ago I was streaming hardcore Minecraft. Haven't
Yeah.
I built my computer last year around this time, and I was like, I'm going to stream every day. And then life happened. I got a girlfriend. I got an ex-girlfriend actually.
Hmm.
And
I'm sorry to hear that.
that it's we it was nothing. Um
Okay.
and and then uh I started just like live streaming Minecraft, and I was just because I like Minecraft was kind of popping again. Like that game has like its ups and downs where it's like huge for like 4 months and then it goes back to like
Yeah. Yeah.
normal stuff. But I got rated by this streamer called Nico. He rated me with like 100 subscribers or 100 viewers, and
Insane.
dude, I right when I could interact with a bunch of people, like my personality just like shined through. And that's when I
Uh-huh.
was like, maybe I should start taking Twitch a little bit seriously and like trying
Uh-huh.
to build that because I love interacting with people, especially when they're like hyping you up and stuff. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah. So that reminds me of like what I was saying with Advanced Warfare, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was streaming and this guy's in my chat. We're talking. There's like 20 plus people in the chat, and he's talking to me. He's like, "Hey man, thanks for streaming. Thanks for just being you. Recently, life's not been too good to me. I lost my mother, and you've been really helping me out. And ever since I got that message, that's when I knew. I was like, I have to continue. I have to keep going. You know, that was the beginning of my YouTube career, and it was so wholesome. And then like all of a sudden, like things took a turn because I decided to be stupid and follow the trend of like being satirical and being sarcastic and just being toxic and being weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like that message still resonates with me to this day, dude. That
Really?
was when Advanced Warfare came out, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
So
that was a really long time ago, actually, now that I think about it.
yeah. So like seeing that and like thinking about that, I was like, dude, I need to continue. I need to be this like beacon of light for people. And although right now not a lot of people notice or not a lot of people like tune into the streams and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'll still try. You know, I still want to be there for someone. You know, and it's kind of I sound kind of cringe like saying it like that, but in reality, that's what's motivating me.
Yeah, no,
You
for
know,
sure.
like I want to be able to help people the way I know how to help people,
Mm-hmm.
which is make them laugh and have them get like let them have a good time. You know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, I mean, to your point, after that raid, like the next day, I had like a decent amount of uh people watching me, but then it's like dropped off. Like I've streamed every day for the past 2 weeks for like 2 to 3 plus hours, which
Mm-hmm.
is like not a lot, but when you're working 9 hours a day and going to the
Oh,
gym.
definitely, definitely.
So, and I most of the time I'm just streaming to myself, but I just like the opportunity of knowing that somebody could pop in and I could do something to make them laugh and stuff because
Yeah.
I I love comedy. I made this podcast to be a comedy podcast. And then once, because I was going to do stand up and stuff, but once everything happened with the world and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I figured I think it'd be cool to podcast with streamers and stuff because I feel like streamers and like this scene of stuff are just very passionate and you can have some really cool conversations like we're
Yeah.
having.
Yeah. Absolutely. You look at the entire community and you ask someone what they're passionate about, they'll probably literally recite what I'm saying now is um that they're passionate about what they're doing, the streaming, the video games and stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll probably say the same thing along the lines of I can't live this normal 9 to 5 job lifestyle,
Yeah.
you know?
Which That comment always makes me laugh when you like think about it, because what you're going into is like a 24/7
Yeah,
work,
definitely.
but it's work that you get to choose what to do. So
Yeah, exactly. It's work that you enjoy, you know, like
yeah,
you if you hate what you're doing, um you got to get out of there, dude. Like, but like if you love what you're doing, right? You
yeah,
don't work a day in your life. You know, I'm not sure. I think that was the Mahatma Gandhi quote.
yeah.
Yeah, if you love what you're doing, you're not going to work a day in your life, you know? And that's what I like. I don't want to experience the real world stresses of being
Mm-hmm.
yelled at by my boss and like going to my 9 to 5 job in my dull gray desk in my dull gray cubicle, like sitting on my dull gray Dell PC, you know, like
Yeah.
that. That's just like it's so depressing. It's so depressing to me,
Well,
and that's like no offense to anyone that does that, right?
yeah.
But like for me, I can't rock with that. I can't let that slide.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to like I've put a lot of thought of just like jobs and stuff. Cuz like that's where I am in my life. I have a college degree.
Yeah.
I'm building up experience also on a professional level and doing this on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about why these jobs don't interest a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come down to one conclusion that, well, two. One is probably that you're just doing it for the paycheck and you don't really care what that job is, as long as you get paid. And two, it comes down to just like America in a whole, which is like the biggest things that you can go into, unless you can somehow make it into Hollywood or into a tech company, is
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing or like something to do with farming or mining or things like that. Not very flashy jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in today's society, at least with the people that we grow up in, with the day of social media, seeing these people living these quote unquote crazy lifestyles and stuff, um, I think more and more people want to live a flashy life. And that's something content creation can bring, or it can't, depending on what happens. So,
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I definitely do agree. Like, speaking of flashy, it depends on like the person, you know,
it
like
does.
if they rather prefer the quiet lifestyle or if uh they want to be extravagant. And there's nothing wrong with either lifestyle. Like I said, I didn't mean to offend anyone when I said that 9 to 5 lifestyle is boring,
I took crazy
but
offense. How dare you?
but to me, it's just like I'm not living, you know, like I
Yeah,
want to
no.
be able to this is what I'm passionate about. Like, and I think the first step to actually living is understanding what you're passionate about.
Yeah,
And then
that's.
yeah, and sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, no. I was going to say that's completely true.
Yeah, like and then like you take your passion, you stem your passion into a career, and then that career is your life, you know, like
Yeah.
think about it. And we look at the professional players now, Scumpy, right? Let's bring up Scumpy for example, because we're talking about COD so much. His passion, Call of Duty. He loved playing it so much. And then what did he do? He looked for ways to capitalize off his talent. And then same thing with all the current pros right now, attached Zuma, Sensor, like all these people. Like they understood what they love to do, and then
Mm-hmm.
they found a way to create it into something that is sustainable for them in their lives. Um, but it all goes back to one thing, which is passion.
Passion, passion. For
Yeah,
some people, it's hard to find a passion for things because I mean, whether or not I feel like it also depends on like your lifestyle, like whether or not you have to support your parents or whether or not you have a kid
true,
or like
true.
things like that. It's one of the things that I don't like, not about gamers or like things like that. Something that I see with just like content creation in general is that like most of the time that these things are just like a make believe fairy tale. Pretty much,
Mhm.
they're just like a face, and I mean, you only see like a 30 seconds of their life, and they make it look so damn good, and they make it look so damn easy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people are gonna think that it is, and once they start hopping into it, it's a lot more work than what they thought it would be.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like uh that's the case with a lot of jobs, you know? Like
Yeah,
you kind of just hop in and you're kind of just like um yeah, it looks nice like being a surgeon, right? They show the 10 seconds of lifestyle that they get from the amount of money they make,
yeah.
but then you look at the workload, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane, honestly. It's super insane.
Yeah, there's this thing that I tell myself that you'll probably relate to is I'm from a small town, right?
Mhm.
And in every small town there's a damn bowling alley. Okay? And
Yeah.
this has nothing to offend people that like bowling or do that as a passion. When I would go there with my friends, I would see these people on like a Friday night just going there and just getting hammered,
Yeah.
and just like knowing that this is like their escape because they don't like their job.
Mhm.
So I tell myself every day is just don't end up like the guy at the bowling alley.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Like I feel as if there are a lot of different ways that you could escape from life, and for me, like just to bring it back to video games is video games, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's so many more worse things that you could be using as an escape, you know, drugs, alcoholism,
Yeah.
um and you know, just like stuff like that, you know. There's a lot of harmful things that people could use as an escape, but then you look at you look at video games, just like I said, just to bring it back to video games, like you could do so many things with it. It just really comes down to whether or not you're prepared and you're motivated and dedicated, you know, to like really do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was speaking to a friend earlier. I'm not gonna mention any names because I'm sure he wouldn't want that, but uh we were talking about how he doesn't know where to go, you know, doesn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talk about hobbies, we talk about passions, and then that's where we come to this solution to where, yeah, just try this out, dude. You know, it's not bad. Like
Yeah.
it's gaming, you know, nothing harmful with it.
No. Until you rage and break a monitor.
Until you rage and shove your face through some drywall, but that's besides the point.
That's at that point, it's not the game, it's the guy on the other side of the screen that's talking crap to you.
Mhm. Yeah, of course. I mean, rage moments are always going to be a thing in video games. Like, for example, reason why I blew up pretty fast on YouTube was because I would rage so hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we would do like zombie Easter eggs and stuff, and for some reason viewers would find it funny if they DDoS me, and then they would disconnect me,
Oh boy.
and I would like, and then I would get so angry, but
Oh, I
like.
bet.
But it was for like I don't really care, you know. It was for content anyway. But that's
Yeah,
what built the toxic community, was just me like being like that. But it's all right, you
for
know.
sure.
Whatever. Trolls will be trolls. Like at the end of the day, you're still breathing, you're still living. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Exactly. All right. I say we wrap this up. Do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah. So quick shout out to Tenacity Esports, or at Tenacity Dragons on Twitter. Make sure you go follow them. And make sure to follow my Twitch at It's Matrix and my Twitter at It's Matrix. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. And thank you so much for having me on the show, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I said, I love just talking and having conversations. I might not be the best guy to talk for competitive, but I can hold a conversation.
Yeah. Definitely, it was well because I have a lot to say. So
Yeah.
like, it didn't even matter anyway, right? So
I just like to hear what people have going on in their lives. So
yeah, this is a pretty wholesome podcast, man.
it was.
Is there any other sources where I could find this podcast?
Yeah, so it is on every platform that has a podcast besides I think Pandora. And then it will be out Monday. Normally around like 8 a.m.
Mhm.
And then I'll tweet you out the link, and I'll tweet you my website that I have through my feed that I use. So
All right, perfect.
all right, man. So thank you so much. This has been Chris, and it's Maytrix. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, I'll end this like I do all the time. Try something new. You might be surprised what happens. See you, people.